So I have a question for you. Do you think you could be the source of the reason you're struggling? Do you think you could be getting in your own way when you go to grow? Do you think you could be making life way more difficult than it needs to be? Well, I know I did that. I want to talk about that today. I want to talk about what I went through. And I want to talk about some of the comments I got in the last video, actually one comment in particular, because I see people going through this all the time. And I believe personally, from personal experience, from seeing so many clients and me going through it myself, that if you can come to acceptance of this one idea, you're on the path to changing every part of your life. Not just women, but money, success, all kinds of stuff. And women too. Before I do, I want to invite you to like, subscribe, and share, and definitely comment. Those comments really help people to grow, and they really matter. I really enjoy watching you guys support each other in this process. Now, I'm here in Japan. I'm having a great time. I'm at a ski resort. I'm in this beautiful room. I'm going to show you, and I'm showing you this for a reason. If you can, and hopefully you can see out that window there, you can see all of the skiers going by my window. It's a beautiful space. This is an event I come to every year with really successful, entrepreneurial-minded individuals that really want to make a difference in the world, that really care. They really care about their own success as well as the success of other people's. They're handpicked to be here. There's no email list. There's no place you can sign up and say, I want to go to this program to learn. We come here to help each other build and grow our businesses. And we do this every year. It's one of my favorite events to come to every year because the people here get it. They get that they create their own reality. And I see one after another doing just that. There's 6-figure, 7-figure, 8-figure business earners here. Some of them in their 20s. It's ridiculous to watch them. And you can see how open and fluid and powerful their energy is. They're living in more of that embodied space that I talk about. Now, I tell you that because a lot of you guys believe what you see in the world. You believe that reality is the way it is. You believe, for example, women are bitches. They manipulate men. They just steal their money. Why? Because you see it all the time. I had a comment in my last video where I was responding to people's comments. And in that video, I talked about 3 different guys that didn't fit the average mold of good looking that were good with women. One was short and chubby. I don't remember all the guys I talked about. One was older. And they all started out really bad, and they got to where they killed it with women. Well, a guy put in the comments that 3 exceptions don't make a rule, I think is what he wrote. And it made me laugh because he also said something to the effect in the comment section that, well, he'd seen it in his own life, that every woman, I don't remember exactly what he said, but they take or they all become manipulators. And because he sees that over and over again, that has to be true. And I want you to hear that statement because you see that over and over again. That has to be true. If you believe that what you see is reality, you're really stuck. And we need to change that. I need to help you, if I can, to see a different world because that's just going to create pure suffering. I used to think that way myself. I struggled. I suffered. I had a bipolar mother, a sociopathic stepfather. I was depressed all the time. I didn't talk to people. I was super antisocial. I was terrified of the world. I couldn't public speak. I didn't make any money. I had gut issues. And I remember being at my house as a child. My stepfather's inside. My mother's yelling and screaming again. I go outside and I just remember how heavy I felt, how dark the world was, and how I saw abuse and violence everywhere I looked. My RAS, reticular activating system, was sorting for violence. So I sorted in millions of bits of data per second to see the potential for violence everywhere and project a story onto every bit of it. That everybody was violent, everybody was abusive, everybody is going to hurt you, and women especially. They're just crazy. I couldn't stop seeing that in the world for years. But the truth is that that's not true. That was my story, my rose-colored glasses. And yes, I got women to reject me over and over and over again. But I did that. I either picked women that were unstable or I got them to reject me through my subcommunication, through the way I spoke to them, through my micro-expression, through my vocal tone. They were all crap. My vocal tone went off. And I would hardly look at them directly. I'd turn away. I'd shut off my heart. I'd pull away. Who could get attracted to that? Actually, I don't blame them looking back, even though it hurt at the time. The first few women I drew that in relationship with were all bipolar. My mother was bipolar. How do I find, was every woman in the world bipolar? Some of you might think so. I sure thought so at that time. But I could tell you, I'd walk into a room and I could find the bipolar woman. And this stuff just happened over and over again. And what I realized is as I dug into working on myself, because the pain was so great, I couldn't live like that. I didn't want to spend the rest of my life struggling for money, barely getting by, sick all the time, way overweight, just miserable. And so I finally dug in and started doing the deep work, working on my stories, my beliefs, my programs, so that my subcommunication would change, my energy would change. And as I did that deep work, I started to really notice some things about myself. I started to notice how inside, when I looked outside at the world, that I believed the world operated a certain way. I really believed, my body believed that the world was pain, the world was suffering. And I had to come to acceptance that ultimately, in the end, when I got the right teacher, the right mentor, that was just my story. And I also had to come to acceptance to face my story, to look deep at it and to make the changes I needed to make. I had to be willing to go through the pain of my story. When somebody writes a comment like he wrote, I know they're suffering. You know, everybody's this way. It sucks. You can't change it. They're stuck in a program and they're suffering. Because I was like that. I did not want to look at my story because what did that mean? If I looked at my story, I looked at my program and I did the deep work. It meant I had to go through the pain of that story, the vulnerability, the hurt. Sometimes I had to cry. Sometimes I had to grieve. Sometimes I had to go through the deep core abandonment that was going on in my subconscious mind. I did not want to do that. So I do anything to avoid it. Blame the outside world, attack other people, all women are bitches. But in reality, after doing the work, and I started to say this earlier, but I kind of got lost, I started to notice something very interesting. Every time I did a bunch of deep work on myself, sometimes I took a month off, weeks off, and I do this deep work, the women in my life would change. Suddenly, none of the women were bipolar anymore. I'm like, where'd all the bipolar women go? None of the women were screaming or yelling anymore. Matter of fact, every time I do the work, they get nicer, they get sweeter. Because I used to date really difficult women because my mother was difficult. And then I thought all women were going to be difficult. I realized after a while that I truly was attracting a certain energy, looking for a certain energy, creating the subcommunication that would draw that certain energy in. And I wasn't creating subcommunication and energy that thought all this could be easy. I didn't even consider that for years, that could I really create a program, a belief that all this is easy, because that I could change easily? Because every change I fought for, I had to struggle for. And so it was easier just to say, yeah, it's the way life is. I give up. All women are bitches. It's hard to make money. You'll understand someday. But the truth is that wasn't true at all. And I've seen it in countless clients, not just 3. So many clients over 18 years of doing this that I can't even count anymore. I have tons of clients that turned into coaches, that built businesses, that got married, that created incredible relationships, created incredible sex lives, that have done amazing stuff, one after another, and not all of them models. Matter of fact, this is a little bit off in a different direction, but kind of related. I've even had clients that came to me that said, women don't like me, I'll never meet a woman, that were male models, that looked like male models. They wouldn't say they were, but they look like it. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this guy's gorgeous. And if he can't attract a woman, we're all fucked. Truth was he was doing stuff to get them to reject them, or he was rejecting them and projecting onto them that they didn't want to be with him when that was not the case. For me, the real turning point was when I met a guy named Jason. Gone Savage was his nickname as a pickup artist, and he was probably the best with women I'd ever seen. Not usually into pickup artists, but this guy was good. He traded turn on for turn on. He wanted sex, and he was really good at getting women turned on. And when I met him, I thought, this guy can't be good with women. He's heavy and depressed. And then when I went out with him one night, and he blew my mind. I'd never seen anybody better. And even today, I don't think I've seen anybody better. He was incredible. You can look up Gone Savage online and look at his blog. I think the last post was 2011. He kind of disappeared after that. But Gone Savage, or Jason, came over to my house. I was not good at this time. And he was the same height as me. He had a bald head like me. He had a beard like me. And I was like, wait a minute, this guy looks like he could be my brother, and he's good with women. It was messing with my head. And I had a roommate at the time that was 5'11". She loved to wear heels, and I'm way shorter than her. I'm 5'8". And she always wanted guys well over 6 feet, is what she said. And she said to me one day, before Jason came over, just kind of screwing with me, messing with me like we always did. She said, Brian, I could never date you. And I said, okay, I'll bite. Why? And she said, because you're just too short. I don't date guys your height. And she was fucking with me, right? Now, today, if I got that, I would say that's flirting. Let's play. Let's dance. If you're going to start it, I'm going to start it back, and I'm going to raise that tension. I wouldn't bite. I wouldn't buy into her story. I wouldn't buy into her game. I would say to myself, well, she brought up dating me for a reason. She brought up this idea of intimacy with me for a reason. So I'm going to go there. But back then, I took it very personal. It hurt really bad. So Jason comes over. He's also my same height, looks like me, bald head like me, could be my brother. And she looks at him. She looks at me, and she's standing next to me. And she goes, I'd sleep with him. And I was like, what? He's the same height as me. What are you talking about? You don't date guys my height is what you told me. I didn't understand at the time, right? I was insecure. And she looks at me and she goes, oh, I'd make an exception. And I remember thinking to myself, you're a bitch. I can't believe this. Like, why would you say this? Like, I was so frustrated because I believed what I heard and I believed what I saw. Just like this guy that made the comment in my last video. He believes what he sees. He believes what he hears. So he's stuck in this program and he has to face his pain to come out of it. And it's easier just to blame the outside world. Every time I see guys make comments like that on my videos, I feel for them because they're suffering. You can feel the heaviness in the comment, the depression sometimes. And I encourage them, go get help, man. Go take a deeper look. You can change your life. I promise you. You all can. You can have amazing lives, but you gotta do the inner work. And by the way, the inner work doesn't happen with a weekend course. It happens with hard, like you can take like my Revealing Mastery course and you can do the deep work, but it's going to take time. You have to get in there. And if you really are down in the dumps, then you're going to have to work pretty hard. If you need a coach, go get a coach. If you need a therapist, go get a therapist. But do the inner work. Give it time. Stop looking back and saying, have I changed yet? Have I changed yet? Wait 3 months, 6 months, and then look back and say, how different is my life? Every time you look back, it's a presupposition. Like, is it changed yet? That you're not changing. You're worrying. I mean, you wouldn't stare in the mirror at the gym. Have my muscles grown yet? Have my muscles grown yet? Every time you do a lift. Some people do. But if you fall in love with the lifting, you wouldn't need to do that. You would just lift, and then in a month, you do your measurements. 2 months, you do your measurements, and you'd see the growth after a good long period of time. Say, it's time to check the growth now. It's the same thing with personal growth. So I digress there a little bit. Coming back to the topic. You can change your reality. I promise you. Just like Jason, the guy that looked just like me, became one of the best with women I've ever seen. Just like I changed my reality and dated amazing women, have traveled the world, lived by a ski resort as I dreamed, made plenty of money when I should be poor, broke, miserable, and depressed with tons of autoimmune disorders. You can do the same thing. Just like countless clients over 18 years have radically changed their life, you can do the same thing. I promise you. But you have to be willing to face the deep stories. You see, reality out there has endless possibilities and directions it can go. And if you vibrate at a certain level of energy, if your field is vibrating at a certain rate, you're going to constantly recreate the story of that vibration. If you think all women are bitches, you will sort the room for women that are bitches, that are going to take your money, that are going to use you. But if you truly believe in an embodied way, not a logical way, that you're really attractive and you feel it in every part of your body, you're going to have women attracted to you all the time. It's the way it goes. Yes, looks do matter. Looks get the door open. Looks get you started. But if you are depressed, looks only go so far. If you're sad, looks only go so far. If you're hanging out with a woman and you're going on several dates, she has to eventually deal with your personality, your energy, your vibration, who you're being, the weight of your energy. And that comes out in who you're being. So that's really more important. So I just want to throw that out to you. I want to let that sit with you for a bit. And I want to encourage you to do the deeper work. You can get my revealing process in an email to Landon at truecourage.io if you're interested in that, or read the book Letting Go, or read the book Sedona Method, or NLP, or go get a good coach. Do something to start moving in that direction. I'll have some future programs coming out. I do a lot of deep work with private clients, but I'll have some future programs coming out in the future that'll have simple membership sites that are affordable, just so I can help people grow, because that's what I'm passionate about. But you don't have to work with me. I have lots of students that are great coaches. There's just so much opportunity from the internet and from the world today. But you got to get out there and do the deep inner work. And that's what I want to encourage you to do. Change the way you see the world, and the world will look at you differently. And that's just the way it is. Now, if you want to get more content like this, and you want to learn more about this, there's all my old YouTube videos. They're free. I also have another YouTube channel that just started. I encourage you all to check it out at Brian Bajan on YouTube. That's my podcast channel. And I'll also be doing consciousness videos on there. Have nothing to do with dating. I have a Rumble, rumble.com/user/Brian Bajan. And I also have Instagram, Brian Bajan and Brian K. Bajan. So definitely check those out. I'm always working to wake you guys up, to motivate you, to tell you you can have more. So when you hear me make a comment like this, and I call somebody out like this, I'm actually saying to that very person, you can change your life. You can have more. But you got to be willing to do the work. That's why I'm calling you out, to say, come on, man. Let's do it. Do it. Do something. Now, with that said, I want to thank you for being on the call. This is just a little rant I wanted to have, or a little, I don't even call it a rant, a little discussion, deep dive. And I got to get back to the program that we're doing here in Japan, and definitely comment. And I want to remind you, only the courageous really live. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Have a good day.